It's a typical day in Rayclast. A light fog with a high chance of chaos tornadoes, and a front of consuming darkness moving in around 3 PM. This monk build by Flickerslide uses a combination of hidden mechanics and varied uniques to pump out purple chaos tornadoes and Bodak slams as it saunters for a pleasant evening stroll. Welcome to Build of the Week. I'm Evan from Grinding Gear Games.
Dude.
To begin your journey as an idle clicker of unbridled chaos, you must play as a monk, ascend into the Acolyte of Chiola Ascendancy, and follow the Breach storyline at the endgame. Eventually, you'll meet the Dreamer, whereupon something totally nice and healthy happens to your character. You'll then gain access to the hidden Ascendancy passive, Archon of Chiola.
Wait, what? Oh wait, monks have a hidden Ascendancy now? Damn, dude, I really gotta play a monk.
This is a skill that requires glory to use, and when active it has a number of benefits, including the meteorologically unlikely phenomenon of generating purple tornadoes every 3 seconds. That's nice, but the Archon buff only lasts 10 seconds, with an even longer cooldown. Unacceptable. We don't want to be featured on the local weather news like a regular boring storm that moves some letterboxes around. We want to have a prime time slot for a previously unknown weather pattern threatening the fabric of civilization. So naturally, like any self-respecting meteorologist, we have to go into some foggy places to harvest emotions and distill them into an oil to put on a necklace. With these oils from Delirium, we can anoint the hidden notable Dominion. This removes the cooldown on Archon skills at the cost of reducing the effect of their buffs. Fortunately, this doesn't reduce the effectiveness or frequency of the tornadoes. The next problem to solve is Glory, which we need to cast Archon of Chiola. This skill generates glory when we deal a chaos hit or debuff. The amount of glory generated is scaled by the monster power of the mobs we're hitting. You can pause to read how this works here. But the basic level of monster power isn't enough to maintain the Archon buff forever. Fortunately, there are ways to increase this value. To do that, Flickerslide is using both of these uniques, with their handy monster power mods. As a bonus, the Sadist Mercy Mace also has an innate skill that scales with monster power, so we can use that for some supplemental damage too. So then, how does Flickerslide continuously deal chaos hits to generate glory? Okay, deep breath. Repulsion is a new ward-based curse that causes cursed enemies to explode with a little shockwave when hit. Since we're an Acolyte of Chiola, and thanks to this node, every hit we deal is a chaos hit, these repulsion explosions build glory.
Bro, how people come up with this shit? What the hell? That's crazy. You really need to understand and know the game top to bottom to reach such insane builds.
To get these explosions to happen constantly, we can put Repulsion into Blasphemy, a gem that turns a curse into an aura, so the curse will be constantly reapplied to all the enemies around us. Then we can socket in Living Lightning, a support gem that generates little lightning minions when we deal a lightning hit. To ensure we're dealing lightning hits, we use this Abyss Jewel, then the Living Lightning minions can hit other cursed enemies and trigger the repulsion explosions, while tornadoes also count as attacks that deal chaos hits, which also generate the glory we need to maintain the buff forever. Simple. But wait, we still need an initial hit to trigger repulsion. And no, this mug is not enough. His mum says he's very handsome. Enter the Vestige of Darkness. This is a new unique that drops from the Bodak and embodies his power. With this equipped, the Unlight itself bursts forth from the ether to obliterate your enemies.
That's
and
a summon
start the
thing.
repulsion loop. In actuality, the Bodak actually deals good damage with a massive AoE and scales with monster power, so it's an integral part of the build that helps clear maps. And with that, we've finally become the Tornado Alley of Rayclast. All we need to do now is recast the Archon buff from time to time and throw around some debuffs where we encounter bosses. There's a lot more going on here, including a weapon swapping setup with Brutus Lead Sprinkler for single target, and self-immolating wolves that provide abyssal modifiers, and an unusual passive tree that focuses on presence modifiers. It seems Flickerslide is still...
Yeah, literally aura farming. God bless, this is so sick. It doesn't look like it has the most damage out there, but it's so cool. Holy crap, that is insane. All you need to do is have a PhD in a video game.
Experimenting with the build, there's a lot to play with here. We'll let you discover the rest yourself. In terms of MTX for this build, I reckon the unique items are cool by themselves, but would also recommend the Sun Clan Raider set to show off the sick glowing tattoos that the Acolyte of Chiola gets, along with a vanishing die to show off his pretty face. Thanks very much to Flickerslide for their contribution, and for our new favorite weather phenomenon. Check out their guide in the description for more info.
Damn, Dude, that was crazy. Holy. And we have 2 more after that. My god, let's see. Okay, we have another one. We have Frogmancer. That one actually kind of piqued my interest.
I will plague your land with frogs. Your rivers will teem with frogs. They will come up into your palace and your bedroom and onto your bed, into the houses of your officials and on your people and into your ovens and dining bowls. My frogs will be upon you, your people, and all your officials.
Yeah, you know the build is going to be good whenever
this
they expand
biblical
this
level
circle
build by
of elemental
Yuzo TV
weakness.
makes full use of Dodre's Undoing to recreate the second of the 10 canonical plagues. It is a character dedicated to one single-minded purpose: more frogs. Behold, the Frogmancer. I'm Evan, and welcome to Build of the Week. To use the frog, we must first understand the frog. Dodre's Undoing is a lineage support gem, meaning we can only socket one of them, but that's okay, because we only need one. This support gem works on curses, turning the curse into a ground effect that curses everything that stands on it. More importantly, it spawns witch toads. So technically they're not frogs. I apologize to all the herpetologists in the audience. Frogmancer just has a good ring to it. Anyway, these frogs explode when they leap into enemies, generally ruining their day and dealing chaos damage. By default, you can have only 4 frogs per area of cursed ground. Yuzo saw this limitation and considered, but I want more. There are only 2 real ways to scale this skill: the gem level of the parent gem.
Man, I love that every broken PoE build is like, you take one ability and you immediately think how you get more of it and how you get it to cover as much of the screen as humanly possible.
And limit increases. Let's talk crafting, starting with our gem levels. As mentioned, the frog explosion, which by the way is called Dark Consequences, has a skill level equal to the parent curse it's socketed into. Yuzo has maxed out this parent gem to a whopping level 40. We could use any curse here, but Elemental Weakness is the preference because it has all the elemental gem tags. This means that increases to any elemental skill will apply. The perfect unique for this is Sunsplinter. This unique shield has increases to all the elemental skills, 6 levels in total, and with a lucky corruption, we can get it to 7. The next step is a carefully crafted wand. An excellent rare can get us +5 to an elemental skill type, and a new rune, the Hedge Witch Assandra's Rune of Wisdom, can get us an additional level. Yuzo notes that you can get even more out of this wand by using an Omen of Sanctification. Just be careful, because this could brick the wand and just make... never mind. That's good enough.
Just get lucky. It's fine.
If we take the Vertex, corrupt it, and use a Vile Cultivation Orb, we can get a nice bonus to curse skill levels. After that, if you still need more gem levels, they can be rolled in our amulet or attained on the Prism of Belief unique jewel. So, our frogs are strong, but how do we increase our FPS, our frogs per second, or depending on your taxonomy, our DOT, our damage of toad? You'll notice that limit is actually a keyword.
Clever.
You know what that means? There will be a way to take the mechanic and rip it apart.
Come on, dude.
This ribbit limit applies to the number of cursed grounds we have, ordinarily 2 at once,
vanished.
and the number of frogs per cursed ground, usually 4.
They removed the boss from existence.
We can get an easy +1 to both limits with the overabundant support gem. Next, we can get another +1 from a mod on our wand, crafted using the new Rune Binder's alloy. And lastly, we can get +2 from our ascendancy, the Stormweaver. Actually, this node is the whole reason we're a Stormweaver at all. Yuzo notes you can also use the Idol of Aldern unique amulet for a further +1, but it depends on your priorities. You might prefer a rare amulet to shore up your... Just kidding, our priorities are more frogs, let's slap that bad boy in. With all this together, our army of frogs is ready to commit war crimes. The rest of the build is designed to make this experience as smooth as reptile skin. Yuzo is using Windscreen, boots that make our curses apply instantly so that our frog factory fabricates faster. Wearing these, we can hop over here and grab Whispers of Doom, which lets us apply an additional curse. Usually this would slow down our curses, but this downside is completely mitigated by the boots. For the additional curse, we're using Despair with Blasphemy to reduce our enemy's chaos resistance. As if a storm of frogs wasn't chaotic enough, this all works well with Cosprey's Will, a chaos-themed body armor that's perfect for the build. It gives us an aura that inflicts Wither, increasing our chaos damage. It also makes the Wither stacks and our curses have infinite duration. Once we set up our frog factory, we'll keep forging frogs forever. As you can probably tell by now, this isn't exactly the fastest build at clearing maps. We're a slow, lumbering, amphibious assault vehicle. However, this build is excellent at bossing, where you can place your summoning circles and simply watch as the boss meets total annihilation. Yuzo notes that this build pairs well with a party. Some of the build that's fast at clearing but slow at bossing. The curses it provides are a nice boost to the damage of many build types, and thanks to your body armor, your frog children will continue to spawn, perhaps literally, even if you croak it. The dream, really. If you want to look like a swamp witch, I'm wearing the crocolisk body armor and gloves. The Wendigo character effect covers us in purple-grey markings, while a vanishing dye and the Jin boots let us show off these striking patterns. Oh, and if you want to treat your toads to a little snack, chuck on the Defiler's rare finisher effect for extra maggots. Thanks to Yuzo for putting this build together.
Wow. Dude, that was one of the sickest builds I've ever seen in my life. That is insane. It is too slow for, I guess, map clearing, but man, it does sure melt them bosses. Now that was good. We have one more. We have last one before we go into the rest of the stream. Let's see. Okay, that is the interesting one. Slow maxing Chronomancer. Alright. Let's see.
Build of the Week is filmed in front of a live studio audience.
Some days, I feel old.
Yeah,
and
I know.
Grumpy. And I think it's
Same.
important that everyone understands how I feel. Fortunately, Tusk Deluxe has me covered. This Chronomancer build lets you take your old man aura and impose it on all your enemies. Everyone who so much as glances at you
that's me.
will feel the full weight of life's disappointments.
Dude, that's
and will
literally
be forced
my
to
build.
a near standstill.
Yeah.
I'm Evan, and welcome to Build of the
Exactly. Oh, I
Week.
can see the debuff counter.
This is a slow
I get
maxing build. It focuses on mechanics that slow enemies as its primary defensive layer. It all begins with the Auspex, a new unique which was Tusk
This is Diablo? Yes.
Deluxe's inspiration
How
for
did
their
you know?
experiments. The armor provides grueling madness, an aura that slows enemies and increases the potency of all slows on enemies, up to 100% at maximum stacks. To make the most of this, Tusk has crammed in as many slows as possible. Behold this glorious life bar. All of these
this
debuffs
is
like the
Diablo
medical
5.
history of an 80-year-old chain smoker.
Or 6. Really
Working
depends.
from left to right, let's get the diagnosis. First up, the patient has a severe case of chilblains. There's also some third-degree burns and nerve damage from electric trauma. We've got some muscular atrophy from the ravages of time. They've got
Infinite
thin skin,
debuffs.
sensitive to the elements, and they suffer from chronic pain conditions. They're mostly blind. Injuries to the limbs have left them hindered and maimed. Head trauma has them dazed, and for some reason they're highly flammable. Oh, and here it says they're going mad. Not pictured on the bar is Apex of the Moment, an ascendancy node that slows everything in our presence. With all this together, our enemies should probably be admitted to the emergency room. To make the most of these effects... Wait, to make the most? Are we the baddies?
Nah.
To make the most of all these debuffs,
We never are.
we want them to affect as many enemies as possible, from as far as possible. To do this, we must scale our presence, which is a keyword referring to an area around our character that's used for a bunch of different skills and effects. We can use Alpha's Howl to double our presence radius. Tusk wanted to go all in on this concept, so they also decided to use its Ares Contempt, which has this presence mod for a further increase. With these items, our presence covers the whole hospital, the whole screen. This brings us to the next point. How do we put our patients out of their misery? There's a humane solution to that. We fill them with spikes that explode. So, let's spare a thought for our spare. As you hit enemies, they are filled with blood lancers. These can be stacked and then detonated with the spare's implicit skill, Shattering Spite. This is an elemental explosion with a number of effects, which you can read here. I wonder if Azeri had an instruction manual printed for this thing. But crucially, down the bottom here, you'll notice that the size of the explosion is scaled by our presence. So, the typical damage loop for this character is to use Spear Field, to fill as many enemies with as many blood lancers as possible, then detonate them all. The large explosions overlap, reducing packs of enemies to ruin. To scale this damage, Tusk has committed to scaling spear damage with a tri-elemental approach. Our explosion does lightning and fire damage, and we're also getting a bunch of cold damage from this mod on our unique scepter, Guiding Palm of the Eye. Side note, this item is also what makes us a cold bastard, with a freezing Shrine aura that you can see swirling around our character at all times. But
good.
since we have all 3 elemental damage types, we can make use of nodes like this and this. Most importantly, we're running the Trinity buff gem. This can give us a huge boost to all elemental damage, so long as we're regularly hitting with a balance of different elemental damage types. This is a tricky balancing act,
crap out
but
of Storm.
Tusk has achieved it with a careful mix of support gems and buffs. And actually, all this damage scaling would be easier if we were a Huntress. Fortunately, we can do just that with the split personality duel, changing our starting area from the Sork to the Huntress area. This midlife crisis career change provides access to plenty of spare nodes, elemental damage nodes, and crit. It even has a few slow magnitude nodes we can grab too. You'll notice that both the main uniques this build uses are evasion based. And since we're now in the evasion area of the tree, Tusk has specced into that too. With our blinded, slow enemies and our high evasion score, this character can survive almost anything. The only real danger here is ground effects, because of our small old man life pool. So, that's the core of the build.
Just don't get hit.
Slobbing enemies and using other connected mechanics to obliterate them. We're basically an extreme traffic cop. Excuse me, ma'am, do you know how fast you were going? As always, there's more going on here. Rage generation and spending, aura stacking, curses. The build uses Frostbomb, Inevitable Agony, and Spear of Solaris for single target, stacking debuffs to make short work of bosses. There's also a bird. Generally, this build leads to a relaxed mapping experience. Nothing is especially scary if it must adhere to a speed limit. This character is visually chaotic, but if you want to look dapper anyway, the Flesh Warden body armor pairs well with a unique spear. And one cool thing about Spearfield is that it inherits the 3D art of your spear, so you can experiment with different looks here with different weapon skins. Thanks to Tusk Deluxe for this entertaining walking nightmare of a build.
That was crazy how people come up with that. I mean, this is a more definitely labor-intensive one. You have so many buttons to click. But at the same time, I think it's the coolest. Like, dude, I love it so much. But no, actually, maybe the coolest was the Frog Lady. The Frog Lady was insane. I did not expect that at all. Yeah, this looks like a really cool synergy, but like so slow. That's the point. I mean, instead of being hyper fast, you can make everyone else slower. That's how old man Aura Max. That's how you go about it, dude. That was sick. They definitely improved in how they, like, in terms of presentation and stuff. That was epic. My god. I really want to hop on PoE 2 again, but I guess I'll have to wait for the next patch or something. I just don't have time at the moment, unfortunately. I really do want to play this game so much, especially after seeing these builds.